Wayne Council meeting. Judy will give us the Pledge of Allegiance this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty for all.
Roll call. Mayor Rowe. Present. Mayor Pro Tem Miller.
Present.
Councilman Racy.
Here.
Councilman Porter.
Here.
Councilman Sanders.
Present.
Councilman Gabriel.
Present.
Councilman Webster.
Present.
Item number 1, approve agenda.
Madam Clerk, before we move forward, I would just like to have a moment of silence for all of those that have lost their lives in Texas.
Yeah, your mic's not on.
You might be now.
Hello? Hello?
Nope. Sounds on.
Nope. It's dead.
Hello? Okay, I guess they don't want me to talk this evening.
There's a switch on the back side. I heard it pop. Plug green, no, that should be it. There it goes.
Hello?
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize. I was asked if we could have a moment of silence on behalf of all of those that have lost their lives due to Hurricane Harvey down in Texas. So if we'll have a moment, would you please remove your hats? Thank you. The clerk may continue.
Item number 1, approve agenda.
Motion to approve. Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Porter, supported by Councilman Gabriel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, city council minutes. 2A, regular meeting of August 15th.
Move. Support.
Who motioned?
I did.
Was moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Sanders. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 2B, special meeting of August 29th.
Move approval.
It's been moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Sanders. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 3, presentations. 3A, presentation by Lynette Ish-Green, Beaumont Healthy Wayne.
Good evening, Mayor Rowe.
Good evening, Lynette.
Councilmen, women. I want to thank you so much for the invitation to present on Healthy Wayne. I am the project manager. My name is Lynette Ish-Green, project manager for Healthy Wayne. Some of you may not be familiar with Healthy Wayne. So just to kind of catch you up, this is going to be an update of some of our activities and our purpose, and to present our newest part of our initiative on worksite wellness. So what is Healthy Wayne? Healthy Wayne is a partnership between Beaumont Health and Wayne Westland Community Schools and the city government, and that includes all of you. So we are committed to improving health and wellness throughout the city of Wayne, and wellness for everyone, people of all ages, and throughout the entire city. Specifically, we want to decrease the incidences of obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, heart disease. So these are the chronic diseases that we have decided that we will focus on, and these are the top priorities. These priorities were established by Beaumont Health in the 2016 Community Health Needs Assessment. And that needs assessment is to be done by every nonprofit hospital in the system, so that we find out what the focus points are, what we can actually do in the community that we can make the greatest impact on. Healthy Wayne is a coalition, and it's open to all organizations, residents, businesses, anyone who lives or works or plays in the city of Wayne. This was established, the coalition was established as a mechanism through which we are creating a culture of health here in the city of Wayne. And by culture of health, we're promoting active living and healthy eating opportunities for everyone. Our vision is the city of Wayne as a vibrant community supporting healthy lifestyles. Our mission, a community working together to promote and encourage health and wellness by connecting people, ideas, and resources for all who live, work, or visit in the city of Wayne. So how are we going about delivering on that promise, the promise of our mission? Well, I'd like to share with you some of the activities that we've been engaged in over the past few months. I haven't seen many of you since last December, so I've got a little catching up to do, but I'll try to do it in a brief way. Some of our activities that we've been engaged in are through strategizing. We're meeting our goals and our objectives, and these are goals and objectives that were established by the coalition. People who, again, are residents, people who have businesses in the area, or are representatives of a number of organizations throughout the city. And we do this through monthly meetings. The coalition has worked over the past few months tirelessly to develop opportunities for active living and for healthy eating for everyone. One of the first things we were able to offer was Cooking Matters at the Store. And this was presented as free store tours that were done on 4 Saturdays throughout January and February. There were 90-minute interactive sessions that involved tours that are led by a Beaumont health registered dietitians, and it empowers shoppers with the information to make healthy food choices. So they took tours through the store, learned about the best ways to purchase on a budget, and they were actually given a $10 health challenge. What can you buy with $10 to fulfill the recipe ingredients of a healthy recipe? And they did their best, and whatever they purchased, they were able to take home to feed their families with. There were free yoga classes. These were called Downtown Wayne, Yoga in Downtown Wayne. And they were held at the public library from January through April, 4 full months. They were free and open to everyone. They had to at least be 9 years of age, but pretty much open to the community. We served participants from throughout the community, people that came even from other cities, traveled to take part in our free yoga classes. People who worked in the city of Wayne, but maybe lived as far as Bellevue or somewhere else close by. Their classes were 1-hour sessions taught by a certified yoga instructor from Citizen Yoga of Detroit. Averaging 15 participants each session, the classes were generally full and anticipated on a regular basis. The second annual Healthy Wayne Community Walk was held in April with over 60 walkers and led by our own Mayor Rowe through downtown area as well as throughout the business community. We wanted to encourage the workforce to get in at least 30 minutes of exercise each day for good heart health and good overall health. Again, we're trying to impact the incidences of cardiovascular disease, obesity, and diabetes. And this is one of the ways that we thought we could do that. At that same session, we introduced our health initiative called the Wayne Walking Club. And at this event, we introduced a kit that's a free kit that encourages people to buddy up with someone, to walk with them, and begin to get regular exercise. The club, introduced in April, now has over 90 walking clubs. Again, from not just the city of Wayne, but it's encouraged people from around the area. They want to participate. They want to know what we're doing here in Wayne, and they want to be a part of it. We had 2 Cooking Matters 6-week classes that were held in May and June in the city of Wayne, and they were delivered by trained nutritionists, offering free hands-on instruction, promoting affordable healthy eating, and free groceries every week that they participated over the 6 weeks. We held monthly Healthy Wayne Coalition meetings, and this was done to refine our strategies, to make sure we were meeting our goals and objectives and adjusting them as we needed. And this was done by citizens that live here, people who work here. We shared resources, local events. It was an opportunity for people to let each other know what was going on in the city. There were meetings held in between these sessions on occasion as we were planning for a number of events, and people took time out of their workday, time out of their busy schedules to participate in these planning sessions. This led to Let's Walk Together, which was a school and community walk. Again, this was led by Mayor Rowe. It was held at Atwood Park to kick off the summer. And we wanted to encourage teachers, kids that were in school and now out of school to keep walking, keep active through the summer months. We had vendors like DTE Energy, the Wayne County Health Department, the Public Library, Michigan Intergenerational Network, and the Wayne Westland Schools presented employment opportunities. Donations were made by participants to benefit the Wayne Westland Schools Family Resource Center. So none of these events are ever a charge. Everything is done free so everyone can participate. We did the Art Walk in July, which was beginning in Gowdy Park, and visited downtown area businesses. It was a free 2-mile walk in partnership with Wayne Main Street, showcasing the DIA Inside Out works that were posted around the community and giving people an opportunity to learn more about the local businesses in the area. There were multiple exhibits held throughout the summer, showcasing Healthy Wayne, the coalition, our walking clubs, and health information to try to make sure that people are registering and signing up for health insurance. We know that this is a concern for many people. If you lose a job, you can automatically then apply for health insurance through the marketplace or through Medicaid. And many people don't know this, that as your status changes, you then may become eligible for Medicaid or other health insurance benefits. So we want to make sure that folks are on top of that and able to know who to talk with, how to find a health navigator that can help you through a very difficult process and sometimes a difficult time in people's lives. We participated in the Beaumont Health 60-year anniversary and second annual Family Safety Awareness Day. That's where we signed up the most walking club members. There were tons of people there, probably over a couple thousand people, very interested in what we were doing with the Healthy Initiative. We participated in the Downtown Days exhibit at the Knights of Columbus, offering free blood pressure screenings, and again, more information about the coalition. We were part of the Western Wayne Family Health Center Health Fair and the Hype Recreation Center Family Fun Fest, as well as the Wayne County Health Fair Fun Fest. So today I want to encourage you to participate in our initiative of the Healthy Wayne Coalition. We hope that we will uncover health activities that will take place in the city through businesses. One of the activities that the coalition has been engaged in is developing a survey, a workplace wellness survey. And we provided that link through Lisa to offer that opportunity for people to tell us about some of the activities that they are doing in their workplace. It's done through a link to Google, the Google network. It's only 10 questions long. It's easy. It's a survey that will only take a few minutes to complete. And we hope that if you have a business or know someone in the area that has a business, that they'll take those few short minutes to participate in the survey. It will benefit us to help us to identify businesses which are already supporting wellness in the community for their workforce on any level. So whether they are a one-person employer or they have many employees, it's important for us to learn what kinds of things are going on to support wellness in the workplace. We want to find ways to help our employees get healthy and stay healthy. Because a healthy worker is, of course, a more productive worker, and that's what we're all about, is trying to support health. The 10 questions that you'll answer on the survey will tell us how many employees are at your workplace, the average age, and what, if any, wellness initiatives are going on. It could be as simple as posting a sign that says, "Take the stairs." Or your workplace initiative could be more in-depth. Maybe you're offering to pay health insurance for your employee, or maybe offering to pay a gym membership for staff. There will be no judgment made on the amount of activity that's taking place, or if you're doing any activity at all. We simply would like to be able to offer more help to any sort of wellness activities, or offer help to those that would like to start a wellness initiative. We want to explore whether or not we can assist those who would like to do something to increase their workforce awareness of health in the community. So if while answering the question, you find that you don't have an exact answer, estimate. Just give us your best guess. We'd like to know your activities, what your desires are for more help, and if there will come a time when we might be able to identify your workplace as a model who knows? You could be a model for other similar types of businesses that want to do more to support their workers but don't know how. It might be a way to help get started. We also want to share with you a couple of resources I'd like to leave with you. One is the Red October Run. It's going to be taking place at Greenfield Village, so I'm going to leave some flyers for you here in the lobby. The maximum is 1,500 walkers and runners, and we're already over 1,000. So we encourage people, if you're interested, to please go online to this website that's designated on the flyer and sign up. It's going to be a fun activity. If you pay for your walk that day or your run that day, you're also going to get access to the village for the day. So that maybe will help encourage some folks to participate. Also want to leave with you some materials that were presented at our last Healthy Wayne Coalition meeting called Eat Safe Fish, and it's also about buying safe fish. So for some of you that are eating sushi regularly or worried about getting your omega-3s, it might be important for you to take a look at some of this information about how to safely buy the fish, prepare the fish, and so there's some materials for you here. And even which waterways are safe for which types of fish that you might be fishing for on your leisure time. And also I want to share with you, I'll leave with you a flyer about the Healthy Wayne Initiative. Please stop by and pick up a copy of the flyers. And finally, I want to invite all of you to please join the coalition. We need your ideas, we need your enthusiasm, we need your input as we plan future activities to go forward with the City of Wayne and our health initiative. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Mayor
Thank you.
Rowe, for the invitation.
Could you give the website that you have, or the Facebook?
The
how you
Facebook page, we have a Facebook page, and if you just go onto Facebook and search for Healthy Wayne, it will pop up. And would like to invite all of you to join the Facebook page. We post information regularly about healthy living opportunities and activities in the community.
And then the coalition meets on
The fourth
Thursdays.
Thursday of each month. And again, I'd like to encourage you, your neighbors, your friends to participate. We really do need your support. It takes a lot to put these activities on, and we've been very busy for the past few months. We have a lot of goals that we are still continuing to try to meet, and we need your help. So thank you so much.
And the meeting starts at 8 o'clock for a light breakfast or snacks, and then the official meeting starts at 8:30 and is usually over with by 10:30.
Right.
And it's at Hype.
Mayor O.
Yes,
May I ask Ms. Ishgreen?
yes.
I remember at the Beaumont anniversary, and we had a table set up, and it was about the walking, about how there was a, where you can do so many miles, accumulate, and you would be able to enter into a raffle. Is that still ongoing?
It's still ongoing. As a matter of fact, we had some entries for our first Fitbit raffle, and we pulled the winning name. Mayor Rowe pulled the winning name at our last coalition meeting, and the woman who won, I believe, is going to be featured in our Beaumont News
Lynn
soon.
Higgs.
Lynn Higgs was the winner. She's a regular walker, and so there are others even that are asking to walk at the same time she's walking. So sometimes people don't know who to walk with, and we'll be trying to pair people together with others that walk. We always invite our walking club members to participate in any of our community walks, and the way it works, what you were talking about with the logging is, when you sign up for the free kit, inside of your kit, each member that's walking gets a lanyard, something like what I have on here, and tucked inside is a log. So each day that you walk, you log either the number of steps that you're taking, and you get a pedometer, a free pedometer, so you can mark those steps, or you can log by the time, the amount of time that you're walking. And we encourage people to work up to at least 30 minutes or more each day. That's kind of the American Heart Association's guideline of what our goal is. And we know some people don't start walking that much right at the beginning. They might only be able to do 10 minutes of walking. So walk 10 minutes in the morning, 10 in the afternoon, 10 in the evening. Eventually, gradually, you'll work up to that 30 minutes, which is the best goal for good heart health and good overall health.
Mayor O, so
Yes.
my question is, I see a lot of members in the neighborhood, more and more walking, a lot of our senior members, and it's great. And I like to see them participate in that. I think that would kind of raise, and I think the coalition has raised it about Healthy Wayne. But is there a way for them to be able to easily be able to apply to participate, maybe possibly at City Hall? Or is there where do they go to be able to get on board walking in Wayne?
Good question. So I'm posted at the Hype Rec Center. I have 2 days there that I work on Wednesdays and Fridays at Hype Rec Center. And they can just come to the front desk and either ask for me, Lynette Ish Green from Beaumont, or they can also ask for Brian Haddad. And Brian has all the walking club information. He keeps it there on site. So they're just going to ask for the Beaumont Healthy Wayne Walking Club kit.
And what's good times to go there?
I would suggest they call ahead, because Brian is a busy guy, so he may be in a meeting or whatever, but if they just call the Hype Center, I'm there, and I'm in meetings and in and out also, so it'd be good to just call the rec center and ask to either speak to me or to Brian, and we can set up a time for them to come in.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you. And if you want to leave the information at the end here, and Lisa will make sure it gets put out in the right place.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you at the end of the month.
Item 3B, presentation by Maxwell Cameron, Wayne Main Street.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. My name is Maxwell Cameron. I'm the Executive Director for Wayne Main Street. And not to take too much of your guys' time tonight, but we did want to share a summer update as to some of the really exciting and amazing things that we have going on as an organization. I want to start off by sharing with you some great funding opportunities and grants that we've received in the last couple months, as well as some of the amazing events and activities that we have planned for September and beyond. So I wanted to just briefly detail some of the funding opportunities that we've been successful in acquiring since mid-July. The first that I wanted to mention, the National Trust for Historic Preservation awarded Wayne Main Street $1,225 to do 3 preservation education programs. And this was an amazing opportunity for us, not only because we get to partner with the Wayne Historical Society and specifically one of their interns, Tyler Mull, on these presentations, but I also want to note that our intern, Bill Oldham, was responsible for writing this grant. So it was amazing for us to receive this, and we can work in partnership, and it was a great opportunity for him to learn more about grant writing. The second opportunity that I wanted to share, we received a $5,000 grant through the Greater Metropolitan Area Realtors Association, GMAR, for a placemaking endeavor, specifically our Derby's Alley Pocket Park project. And if you're not familiar with Derby's Alley, this is the alleyway thoroughfare that is just east of GI Surplus on West Michigan Avenue. And we were awarded $5,000 to specifically do lighting in the alleyway. It will be what's called festoon lighting, which is the zigzag LED bulbs that are on strings throughout the alley. And I want to point out a couple of things, and this is kind of a theme, I guess, in the presentation tonight about how special Wayne is and how people are paying attention to what we're doing. So the amount of money that we were awarded for this grant, it was the maximum amount that any one project could receive from GMAR for this year. And we were notified from our funder that our organization, or our project here in Wayne, was the only one to receive the maximum award. So out of all the projects, and you have to imagine, GMAR is a funder that looks at projects throughout Southeast Michigan. So imagine what kind of projects they were looking at. They gave us the most amount of money. And I think that is truly special, and it speaks to the planning and effort that the organization and our committees and our board have put into bringing these projects to reality. The other special piece of this particular grant was that each year, Michigan Realtors allows GMAR to submit one application for a match fund of up to $2,500. And they chose the alleyway project to do so. So not only did we receive the maximum amount of money we could from them, they chose our project to apply for some matching funds. So that $2,500 is pending right now. We're very optimistic about those funds, and our organization, what we're going to be able to do with the funding that we have now is do some initial improvements to the built environment, namely lighting and seating, which we'll be able to share more information on at a subsequent meeting. And then hopefully through Michigan Realtors begin to activate the space through actually doing some placemaking events and activities. So very exciting. The next grant that I want to talk about, and it definitely deserves its own slide, but I started here, is Patronicity. And this is our bike rack campaign. So, we had ambitiously set a goal of raising $5,500 here locally in Wayne to support the installation of 20 new bike racks, refurbishment of our existing racks, and some other really neat things to promote biking in our community. And not only did we meet our goal with a couple days to spare, we blew right past it. And locally, the citizens of Wayne stepped up, and we raised over $7,700 to support the Patronicity campaign. So I am pleased to tell you we successfully got our match award of $5,500 from MEDC, and our total amount raised was $13,397. So a little bit more about the campaign here, what our plans are moving forward, and most importantly, highlighting who our partners are. This was not something that we did alone. It was because of the support we've received from the City of Wayne, specifically Building and Engineering. Mike Byton has been amazing. The DDA, the Wayne Bicycle Club, and Mark Chevrolet. That this project was as successful as it was. So we put some pictures here as, we got the pleasure of counting the dollars as they came in, and there's our little chart that we were using in the office. So we were very proud of not only meeting but exceeding that goal. The amazing thing about all of these funding opportunities as well is that 100% of the funds that we just talked about are dedicated to programs and purchasing of direct goods, and 100% of the money will be returned to the community. So that's amazing for us here in Wayne, and we're really proud that we've been able to leverage our role being a Main Street community to bring these new funding opportunities to the city. It also means that in order to continue to be able to do that, our organization has to pay for our overhead and costs of running Wayne Main Street. So the next thing I wanted to share with you tonight is our Jazz on the Avenue event. This will be our third year that we're producing our signature event. It's going to be held on Thursday, September 28th. And again, when we were thinking about and planning this event this year, we started from the belief that Wayne is special and we need to celebrate what's happening in our community. So we picked a special location. We're making this a great event and a celebration of the restaurants that are here in Wayne. And we dropped our price to make it a little bit more affordable so that as many people as possible can come out and enjoy the night with us as we celebrate the success of our community and Wayne Main Street. So this year's event is going to be hosted at the former Standard Federal Bank of America building on Michigan Avenue. We've put some pictures here of the building, a great side-by-side of what the building looked like. It's all mid-century modern inside, and what it looks like currently. So we're going to really transform the space into an amazing night. We have live jazz quartet, Henry Reed Jazz Quartet. we're going to be hosting a Taste of Wayne, where we've invited a number of Wayne businesses and restaurants to provide food stations for the event. So participants are going to get to taste and experience some of our dining options here in Wayne. And we have a complimentary bar. Tito's Vodka, Great Lake Wine and Spirits has really stepped up to support that aspect of the event. And we have amazing sponsors. So Union Local 900 became a sponsor this year, and we'd like to thank them, as well as Jack Demer Ford, a number of other sponsors we have listed here, including the City of Wayne's DDA. I have, just a note for everybody, I have tickets with me tonight, so if you're interested in purchasing tickets, I'll have them here at my seat. And a couple of other upcoming events in the month of September. It's going to be a pretty busy month, but we wanted to do another downtown cleanup day. We've talked to DPW and coordinated the Saturday, September 16th. So this will be an opportunity for us to make our downtown even cleaner and even better. We're meeting in Gowdy Park and starting our cleanup at 9. As I mentioned before, we have Jazz on the Avenue coming up on Thursday, September 28th. And then, of course, the return of our Scarecrow show. So that will begin on September 30th, running through November 4th. And registration is already open for that. I have brochures with me tonight. You can register online or in person, and that runs through September 22nd. And that's it.
Good.
So, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you at either Jazz or an upcoming event.
Thank you very much, Maxwell. I'll take 2 tickets for the Jazz. Okay.
Item number 4, requests. 4A, request from Helium Studio to use the city property on the east side of Wayne Road between Ash and Elm Streets for a pop-up flea market on October 7th, 2017.
Move approval.
Support.
Was moved by Councilman Sanders, supported by Councilman Gabriel. Any discussion or questions? Do you have anything, Kim, that you'd like to say, or?
Sure, I'll mention that. Thank you, Mayor. I'm Kim White Jenkins. My husband Dave and I own Helium Studio. This would be our 3rd flea market, and we host it in the parking lot behind Helium Studio. And we usually have 20 to 25 vendors. The last market that we had 7 vendors from Wayne. So these are makers, pickers, junkers, artists. And so as well as hosting folks from Wayne and shoppers from Wayne, we get a lot of participation from outside of the city as well. So I like to say we're always trying to make our downtown somebody else's downtown. So another event that helps serve our families, create some excitement, but also bring people in from outside of the city.
Okay. And that will take place October 7th from 10 until 4 p.m. behind Helium Studio. Okay. Any questions? No? It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 4B, request from the Knights of Columbus Notre Dame Council to use the city property on the west side of Wayne Road between Ash and Elm Streets for a community garage sale on October 7th, 2017.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Sanders, supported by Councilman Gabriel. Is there anyone here from Knights of Columbus? Yes. Hi. Paul, would you just like to give us a brief rundown?
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Paul Sposett. I'm a member of the Knights of Columbus and for Wayne, and we held a garage sale, antique sale during the downtown Wayne days, and we would like to hold the community garage sale / antique sale the same time as Kim to try to bring excitement to the city and support the Knights.
Okay. All right. Any questions? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5, appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. 5A, accept the resignation of Sharon Bunnick from the DDA.
Move approval with letter.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Sanders, supported by Councilman Gabriel, to accept the resignation of Sharon with the letter of gratitude. All in favor, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5B, accept the appointment of Matthew Morrow, 3603 Hannon, number 202, to the DDA to fill the unexpired term of Sharon Bunnick until December 2018.
Move to approve.
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Gabriel. And this is the appointment of a resident that lives in the DDA district. That is the one qualifier for this appointment. So it's not easy to select a member because of the boundaries that we have. There are not a lot of residents living in it. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 6, communications and reports. 6A, Historical Society upcoming events.
Is there anyone here from the Historical Society? No? Okay. Some of the events here are Sunday, October the 1st, there's going to be a St. Mary's of Wayne Historical Cemetery Walk. Those are always very, very good, very informative. You get a lot of history, so it's something you may want to attend. And it's Sunday, October 1st, from 1 until 3 p.m. Then there is also on September 6th, a general meeting, business meeting for the Historical Society, and that's at 5 p.m. at the museum. September the 13th, Wednesday, the Stinson Aircraft Company at the Wayne Public Library presentation, and that's at 6:30 p.m. September the 16th, from 10 until 12, that is a Saturday, and that's when Wayne's Fall Cleanup Day at the Wayne Historical Museum will take place. So they're asking for you also to volunteer your time after you go to Gowdy Park and check in, go over and work at the museum with pruning shrubs and moving hostas and peonies and gardening things. So that's another way to help out. And then October the 1st, which is a Sunday, from 1 until 3, is again that historical cemetery walk. The cemetery walk? St. Mary's Cemetery. Yeah. Mhm. And then October the 12th, Thursday at 7 p.m. is transportation program at the museum, and that's part 3 of the transportation program with Tyler Mall, Bendix Aviation, Garwood, and Lincoln Motors will be some of the keynoted areas that will be explained. And then also there is a business meeting of the Historical Museum at 6 o'clock that night. So if you have any other, questions or that, please just contact the Historical Society at the Wayne Museum. Thank you.
Item 7, general items for consideration. 7A, approve the forbearance agreement with the Ford Motor Company on property tax satisfaction agreement.
Move approval. Support.
It was moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Porter. Are any questions or discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Sanders.
if I might ask the Finance Director,
Yes. Katie?
Hi. I understand the reasons why the finance or the administration wants to forbear this amount. I had conversation, getting some clarification. However, I'm not certain, I guess I should say I'm not certain what the reason is, other than the fact that we're trying to stave off running out of money quicker, I guess. But my question is, we're not having a revenue source. This money, whether we pay it this year or pay it next year, the following year, or the following year after that, we're not getting out of it. So I don't understand why we don't just pay it,
Majority of the payment comes out of the DDA,
right?
and we do expect the revenue to increase in there in the future years.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
She answered it.
Okay. Any other questions? It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose?
No.
Passes 6-1. Councilman Sanders was the no vote. Okay. Thank you, Katie. Approve, I'm sorry. That's your job.
7B, approve the listing agreement number 1 with Colliers for the listing of 6 properties.
Move approval.
Support.
Could we have a presentation
Yes.
regarding this?
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Basically, what this is, for those of you that don't have the packet in front of you, so residents, we are beginning our first set of listings with Colliers. These are the properties that the city attorney's office has vetted through the title company. Those properties mostly are zoned resident, are zoned industrial. We have one that is business and one that is multifamily. So these, you will see signs go up on these soon as this is approved this evening. And then the second round of properties that would include the WABC, Buildings and Engineering, and other properties, those would be vetted through the city attorney's office, and then those will be coming to you, hopefully the second meeting in September.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Wow. Get it.
Help her. Get it.
Oh, I don't know where it
That was
went.
big.
Send it over here.
What are you gonna do, eat it?
I'm hungry.
I don't know, it's on the floor somewhere.
Snickers next time.
The only thing worse than a spider on you is a spider that you don't know where it is.
Oh,
You all right?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You want
I'm
to stand
fine.
up for a
No,
minute?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Make sure it's not
fine.
going back up.
Just stand up for a minute and, just so you can feel comfortable sitting again, okay?
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, okay. It's crawling around there somewhere.
It was probably Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte's Web, right.
Gone. Story's over.
Oh, my God.
Mayor Roque, may I ask a question here, please?
Yes.
A couple questions,
Yes.
actually. Well, I'm glad to see this, finally. On the next round, you indicated some additional property is going to be brought forward into Colliers Realty. Is it possible for us to get a complete list of all the properties that we are considering for them? And also, I was curious as to the appraisal of the one property on Annapolis for $400,000. Is there an explanation for that? or
There hasn't been an
on that a little
appraisal.
bit?
We hired Colliers, obviously for their expertise in regards to the prices of these parcels.
Okay.
Let me pull
And I
up.
assume that's on the west side of Wayne Road?
You're asking about the one on Annapolis, I'm sorry, which one is that? What number is that?
Parcel 2.
Parcel two.
Parcel 2, okay. Parcel 2 is 19.83 acres, and it's deemed as industrial. So based on that, the size of the lot and comps in the area, what other properties were going for, that's how they arrived at that price figure. If the city attorney wants to expand on why she asked you to approve prices, I would appreciate her to do that and clarify that for you.
Yes, this agreement, as you recall, came before council previously, and at that time, title work had not been completed on all the properties. So in order to ensure that we had clear marketable title, we had to order title work, which is an undertaking for as many properties as we did. The problem, or the concern that I had with the prior agreement, is the fact that, and I wanted to point this out to you tonight, this agreement obligates the city to pay a commission to Colliers under a number of circumstances, obviously upon a sale of the properties. But also, there was a condition in their agreement that said we are obligated to pay them their commission in the event that a purchaser makes an offer for listing price. So, we, in our prior agreement, didn't have a listing price. So I can't allow the city to enter into an agreement to pay a commission when we haven't agreed what that listing price is going to be. So for example, on parcel 1, which is vacant Van Born listed at $95,000, the way that this agreement is written says that if we have a purchaser ready, willing, and able to pay whatever that listing price is as determined today by this council, and for some reason council then does not get the majority vote to sell that piece of land, as we all know, charter requires a supermajority type vote in order to sell land. So if the majority vote is not obtained, we are still obligated to pay the broker, Colliers, its commission price on the $95,000, as long as someone comes and offers asking price, which is why it was imperative that these numbers go before council, so council understands they're the ones who approved this listing price. This is not a surprise. This went before council, council approved it, so if we have a purchaser that comes and is ready, willing, and able to pay that listing price, and council for whatever reason says no and doesn't obtain the vote that they need to sell the property, we as a city are still obligated to Colliers to pay them their commission.
Or less, I'm sorry, Mayor,
No,
or
yes.
less?
What do you mean, or less?
Okay, say they offer 75,000 for that property.
So if they
As we
offer,
are in agreement with that, we are not in conflict with that understanding.
so if someone offers $75,000 and the city decides to accept that offer and sell the property, then yes, obviously we pay the commission. I'm trying to address the situation where, where we have a buyer that comes and is willing to offer us our asking price, and for whatever reason, the city turns it down.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in that case, if we turn down a buyer that gives us full asking, we are still obligated to pay the commission to Colliers. That's why it's imperative and that these properties are going to come back before you with sales prices, because we are undertaking a liability if we list the property and get a purchaser that's willing to pay full asking, and then we say no, maybe for whatever reason.
Madam Mayor.
So that's the concern I had with the provision. That's why I asked Lori to work with Colliers in coming up with these sales prices and putting it back before council, because that's a risk. Once we list the property on the market, as long as the buyer comes and gives us full asking, we're obligated to pay Colliers regardless of whether we get the majority vote we need in order to sell the property.
Madam Mayor.
Okay. Yes, are you finished?
No, I do have another question.
Okay.
Excuse me. Okay, for example, if, let's say property 1, and we're asking, I can't read it that good, 98,000?
95.
95,000, and they offer us 75, and we reject that thought, then we are required, or?
We are
it has
not.
to- We are not. I just want to make that
Yep.
clear. If they meet our dollar amount expectation, okay, we're good. And it's up to us if, we're not held under obligation if it's under, and we put it under consideration per se.
Sure, anything less than asking, if the city decides to reject it, we have no obligation to Colliers.
Okay.
If it's less than asking and we do accept it and close the property, then obviously we owe the commission. I'm just explaining a circumstance where we would owe the commission regardless of whether the property closed. By denying a full asking price offer, we will still owe Colliers the commission money.
Okay.
Because the theory being Collier has worked hard and obtained a buyer who's willing to pay us our asking price. So in their mind, they're entitled to the money. But that's an obligation council I felt had to undertake and be aware of at the time that they voted on these prices, because that's what you're doing today by voting to approve this agreement, is you're saying, we agree with the prices as recommended by Ms. Goen, together with her work with Colliers.
Okay.
And these properties are all ready to sell. Some of the properties that are not on here, it's because we don't have title work back, or there may be a potential issue with title work. That's why you're seeing these listing agreements come through, in parts, so that we can get Colliers going on the properties that are good to go.
Mayor, one more
Yes.
question. Prior to, on property 2, it has been zoned as an industrial site. Is there any prior waste contamination of that property at all? Are we all free and clear on those situations?
I don't know if that property has had environmental testing on it, but all the purchase agreements will offer a due diligence period for the purchaser to conduct environmental testing, a period where they're allowed to back out based on the results of their tests.
Okay.
So they're going to be offered a period, just as any of us would when we buy a house, that says conduct whatever testing you want done, a window of time, and once that time has lapsed, then they're obligated to purchase the property if they do not object to those things.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Sanders.
Madam Mayor, to the city attorney, if I could.
Yes.
Specifically, or to the economic development director, either one. Parcel number 2, I would assume that's the part, because I tried to do as much research on each one of these as possible. That is the one located across from Weiser Iron and Metal, I would assume?
Number 2, Wayne Road and Brush, that is the property that...
No, vacant Annapolis.
Parcel two.
Oh, I apologize.
That's the
Parcel
forest
2 is
of trees.
Annapolis and Treadwell.
All right, cool. So in the listing here, first of all, 2 questions. I guess that would be to you, is who came up with the agreed upon price between the Colliers and us? 1. And 2, part of that, at least 10 acres of that acres is a wetland. So is that part of the due diligence as well, so they know that they have to mitigate or whatever?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be part of the due diligence requirement. My office did not take part in negotiating or coming up with a price. That was in conjunction with Lori, Ms. Goen, and Colliers themselves, with their expertise.
Colliers did determine the prices.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a
Yes.
question. I'm glad it's on the agenda as well, and I think the only concern I have is this based on what Colliers thinks they could get? Or is this based on how did they come up with the price if we have not done I know that part of their contract was to do the due diligence and to do the, from what I remember of the bid or the specs that went out, that they would be responsible for doing the appraisal of the property. So I would assume that $400,000, even though we have not done an appraisal, I would assume that $400,000 is what the market bears because based on appraisal?
And, I will ask him that exact question, but I would imagine, which is typical when you get a listing price, is it's based on comps in the area.
Okay.
Plus,
I will
I do
clarify.
think, I'll go out on a limb and say, I think it's in Collier's best interest to try to get the maximum value they can, because they're on a percentage commission basis.
Sure.
So the more they sell it for, clearly the more money they're going to get. The commission will vary depending on whether there's a co-broker involved in the sale or not, slightly, which is common in the industry.
Councilman Sanders, I will tell you, it does say on the information that they gave me at the listing prices, they said it is not an appraisal, it's an opinion of value as intended for the sole and exclusive use of the city of Wayne. So
Thank you.
based on comps in the area.
Thank you.
My only question is, how did we come up with that May 31st, 2018 date for the listing period? I mean, it's not 6 months, it's not like a year, it's 8 months, so
I think, was that 1 year from when it was approved initially by council?
That's what I was
So
wondering.
it does not
Absolutely.
reflect the delay
Okay.
in the listing. So whether or not Colliers would like to amend that date to be 1 year from today, which is the date that the listing agreement was approved with sales price, would have to be something Ms. Goen could check into.
Okay.
But I believe that was when it first came before council, before the title work had been
Okay.
completed and things of that nature.
Okay.
I have another question then,
Yes,
based on that.
Councilman Sanders.
From what I understand, when we approved the relationship with Colliers, it was going to be on a 6-month basis?
I don't recall that.
No, I thought it was a year.
I thought it was a year, but I would have to double
Yeah.
check. I thought that's where we came up with that 1 year.
Okay,
Is
yeah.
the 1 year from the time we
Approved
approved
it,
the
yeah.
I believe
initial.
that's what was in the RFP.
Right, I
Thank you.
believe so.
Mayor,
If, I would like somebody to check on that and
To
You know,
amend?
to amend it to at least a year from when we're
A year from
approving.
today?
Yeah, I mean, to
Okay.
me, that would make a lot more sense.
That's fine.
But
I
Madam
don't know.
Mayor, wouldn't that require a change of the original motion to approve to go with Colliers? Because now it's past the time in which we originally contracted with them?
I don't know, that's. a
Yes, it would
question.
require an amendment by council in order to extend, which arguably could be made with this motion. Motion to approve the exclusive listing agreement as presented, with the exception of a term of 1 year beginning from today's date, if that is acceptable to Colliers.
I would like to make that motion.
My question is, we have a motion, so my
Yes, we
question.
already have one, we have to vote on the main motion first.
All right,
So the main motion was to
Bless you.
accept the agreement.
To accept agreement with the amendment
Well,
of,
First, we have to
okay, I'm sorry.
vote on the main motion, which was to accept the listing agreement as we've got here. Is everyone in favor with that?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye.
aye.
Opposed?
Right.
Yes, I'm
There's
sorry.
questions in the,
Good evening, Mayor.
Your
During
name,
Lori's
name, and
discussion,
name, please, and address.
Robert Borchi, Flora Lane, Wayne.
Thank you.
During the discussion, she said something about sometime in next month, or later this month, that other properties are going to be listed. And is that going to be with Colliers as well? Is that hype?
Your questions are directed to the chair.
Through the chair, okay. The other properties, is that would be ABC Building, the Hype Building?
Right now, Hype is not in that because he is still planning on purchasing unless we've heard otherwise.
And have we gotten an appraisal on that?
Not
yet?
as of yet, I don't believe, have we? City manager, no appraisal still from,
The city has, but we're waiting for Hype.
we're waiting for Hype, okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. Name and address, please.
Len Fisher, Winifred Street. Is this type of agreement typical in municipal real estate? The agreement to, if it's not voted for after a proposed seller has offered to go ahead and pay the commission, even though it's rejected?
Oh, that I don't know.
As
City
far as
attorney?
typical in municipal, I mean, it's typical from a broker Collier's perspective, yes, because what we've done is we've asked them to undertake an obligation of listing the property and finding a buyer who's willing to pay fair market value or our asking price. It's typical in purchase agreements to have those types of provisions in them if you have someone who gets a full asking price offer. The issue here is we're a little more complex of a client in the sense that we need a majority vote of council to sell property that belongs to a supermajority vote of council to sell property that belongs to the city. So Colliers, from their perspective, is looking to protect their time and investment and saying, hey, if we got a buyer who's willing to offer full price, then we should be compensated for doing so. So I do think it's typical of those agreements. When you say typical of an agreement with a municipality, I don't necessarily know if that's true. I wouldn't be willing to answer that question on the spot.
I have a follow-up question. Who do I?
Yes, question?
The reason I'm asking is, in my personal experience, and I know that that does not, that's not universal, but in my personal experience, purchase agreements can be written any way that you want them and put anything in there. That's why I'm asking, is that typical? And is that something, because listening to it, it's like, wow, from recent history, that has happened where a supermajority has not taken place, and that would put us on the hook as a city to pay the commission and still have the property. So that's why I'm asking.
Thank you.
And that's why I thought it
Yes.
important to note to council ahead of time,
Yes.
so that council understood by
Right.
approving this agreement, this is a very important term that needed to be highlighted. Hence, also, I think the importance of the asking price as well, and making sure everyone agreed to the asking price ahead of time.
Okay, any further questions from council? Yeah.
There's
Councilman?
some more questions.
Yes.
Vern Amos, I live on Stellwagen. I'd like to know if somebody could tell me the location or the, whereabouts these properties are, if they're vacant and whatnot.
Certainly.
I might have missed that.
Okay, certainly. Mr. Goin, Ms. Goin?
That's my dad. All right. Yeah, I will give you each one of them. Right now, there are a total of 6. The first parcel is a small, narrow vacant piece near Michigan Assembly that is zoned industrial. And I would give you an address, but typically on these parcels, they have parcel ID numbers. This is very narrow slice near Ford Motor Company.
And it is vacant.
On the Van Born sign, it is vacant land. The second parcel, as I said, is the 19.83 acres located in Annapolis and Treadwell. It's vacant land. It's also industrial. Parcel 3, there are multiple lots at Wayne and Brush Street near the railroad tracks. And you remember, that's the big parcel that is across from Rite Aid. That is all vacant land, and it is zoned industrial with rail access. The fifth parcel, just so you know, the fourth parcel, there are multiple parcels included in that one listing, so that's why that's listed as one. The fifth parcel, 5,532 square feet. This is a piece of land at Second and Brush. This is also near the tracks. It's vacant land, zone industrial. The sixth parcel, this is the vacant, the 2 pieces of land right next to the Knights of Columbus Hall. That is vacant, as you know, and that is zoned business neighborhood.
I've got a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
I was wondering, can we pull parcel 1 out and see if Ford Motor Company is interested in that property to take towards the money that we owe them? Or has that been done?
Yeah, I was going to defer to Lisa. We've
Yes.
gone that route, but yes.
We have asked them numerous times, they have no interest.
Their land division is not interested in acquiring any more property in Wayne.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Madam Mayor, not Chair, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing,
Okay,
Victor?
these two properties that are listed, do we have any property east side of Wayne Road, east of Ash and Elm?
Not in this listing, not in this contract right here, no.
Anything on Wayne Road, east of Ash and Elm? No? How come we don't have that?
It's not in this contract right now.
The reason I just said, why not? It's been sitting there for years.
It's probably still being looked at through the attorney's office for a clear
Properties
title.
that were included in this agreement were properties that we received back as having clear title from the title company and the first set that were returned by them. We have an ongoing list that we are working with the title company in obtaining clear title to and ensuring that we have a proper title in order to sell the property. And that's why we do anticipate, as long as the next batch of title work comes back clear, another agreement hopefully in the second meeting in September.
Okay.
I do not know off the top of my head whether the property that he's
We've had a lot of
mentioning-
we've had a lot of city properties that have been sitting around. Many meetings ago, and I won't tell you how many, this company, Colliers, came here and said they were going to really do a good job for you. Just give it the name of the properties, they'll take care of it. Now we went through a couple of more meetings. City manager wasn't here, the attorney wasn't here, then we turned it over. City manager, the attorney, she's going to do all the background and pay for the listings and all that jazz. What did you say, clearance or title?
We need clear title.
Clear background title work for them. That's all in the real estate business. That's spending our money, our lawyer fees. Colliers, if he wants it and wants to get up there and makes his commission, let him get up here and do the official real estate work, okay? That's what we hired him was. We'll go back to many minutes ago that's what the assumption is. Colliers, you're hired, okay? And it's for all of the city properties. Somebody brought it to your attention that how come you hired Colliers and, well, 4 weeks after, they're in the real estate market newspaper, they hadn't listed any of our properties. Yet you signed an agreement, personal service agreement, with Colliers that you would like this done. So we see nothing, I see nothing being done. And on the same note, and I'll strike it, I didn't want to say it, but these properties that I just mentioned to you, those are being city properties. And do we charge a fee for using city property?
A
We
fee.
don't. I sustain that you should charge a fee for using city property insofar as you're paying the insurance on the property. You charge $75 or $25 for a box to give to the Salvation Army. You've tracked all those boxes all around town. We've got a ledger of them. Who owns them? And if you don't buy the sticker, you're out. So we're having, welcome to Wayne. We are now on Michigan Avenue. We are the used car lot place. Nothing against these people. Let me finish, Miss Mayor.
Yes,
Now we're going to be the flea mart city coming on down Wayne Road.
I
So-
believe your comments right now are not in regards to
I
the
know you were going
sale.
to keep me quiet. Goodbye.
You have a good evening.
Mayor O?
Yes.
May I ask the city attorney a quick question here? What is the total number right now that we're going to be turning over to Colliers? Do you have
I do not,
Mayor, point of order, there's a motion on the floor, and this has nothing, this is out of the scope of what this agenda item is.
Okay, all right. what is, I've asked, what is the wish of council now you would to move forward? All in favor of the
Madam Mayor.
first the first motion?
May we have a clarification reading of the exact
Sure,
motion that's on the
yes.
table?
7B, approve the listing agreement number 1 with Colliers for the listing of 6 properties. It was motion by Sanders and seconded by Porter.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. Passed 6-1 with Councilman Gabriel as the no vote. And now, is there, you wish
Another
to make an amendment?
I'd like to
Okay.
make a motion to amend our agreement with Colliers regarding the starting date.
To be 1 year from today?
Yes, to be from 1 year today.
If I may
If-
suggest,
yes.
1 year from the date of execution,
Okay.
the last date executed by the last party. So when it's
Okay.
been counter-executed in its entirety, that's generally when the
Okay.
1 year would start.
All right.
I
Okay.
agree.
All right.
Ma-
Yes.
We have a motion.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller and supported by Councilman Webster to amend the date of the contract for 1 year from the date of execution.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
if I can get through the city attorney, the sentence after the May 31st, 2018, it says, the listing period, and during the extension of the listing period, the listing period may be extended by written authorization of seller. We're the seller, right?
Yes.
So therefore, we don't have to make this motion. We can, at the time of that, I'm not comfortable in extending the time before we even know what they're worthy of doing.
We would, we would need to make the motion. An act of council is required in order to.
No, at this time, I'm saying
Oh,
at
okay.
this time.
Yes,
tonight.
if, it doesn't have to be done tonight, but if we do want to extend the period, it would absolutely need a vote of council. Whether it
Absolutely.
be done tonight or later.
And we don't know what they're capable of doing at this point, so to do a year from the execution, which the execution could be another month from now, and it's already been 4 months, and I'm just saying.
Madam Mayor, I'd also like to add on to that as far as when the execution date is going to be. If we're going to have more parcels coming before us in further meetings, we really don't know exactly when we're going to get those, so we're going to constantly extend. I think if we go ahead and do it on an as-needed basis, it's going to be in the best interest of the city.
If I may, Mayor, through
Yes.
the chair,
Yes.
we will be entering into separate agreements for those parcels. So once this agreement is approved tonight, if it's approved, it's final. There will be no additions. So we will use this agreement as a template, alter the parcels that are being offered, agree on new sales prices. So each agreement will have a new execution date. And so just so you know, this agreement itself will be final once it's approved by council.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
And that, I think that goes to my point, in that we don't need to extend this date at this time.
Okay.
I would move to withdraw my motion then.
Okay. Does the supporter agree? Did we had support? Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. The motion has been withdrawn then. All right. Did you get that, Madam Clerk? Okay. And we can move on. Oh, no, we need to vote. Oh, we did vote. I'm sorry.
Item 7C, approve the professional service agreement with Nor Engineering for engineering plans for the Peace Memorial at Veterans Plaza.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Sanders, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Miller.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Could you inform the residents where that money is coming from?
Yes, the total fee for this is $6,870, and it is from the donations that we have collected that have been designated only to be used for the Veterans Peace Memorial. So,
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
What's the total amount of those donations?
33,000, I believe. 31 or 33,000.
31,500, I believe.
31,500. Okay. It's been moved by Councilman Sanders, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Item 7D, approve the termination of the license agreement with the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, ASCAP.
Okay, just for some background information on this, I went back and checked with some people to clear this in my mind. But this was originally signed back in 2008, as it was stated by the city manager, and it was for the skating programs that we used to have in the community center. At the community center, we had skating programs, and the music we were using was of a proprietary nature. And at that time, Dick Clark stated that we needed to have this contract to protect us for any lawsuits. So that's why it was signed then and has been continued. I believe the play group used it as well, the theater group used it, so.
Basically, anytime there's music playing in a background at a city function that has this, which is mostly at the Hype Center. So my office became aware of it, and the first thing I did is, because we didn't have a record of this agreement at all from Mr. Clark's old files, so we reached out, the company immediately provided the agreement, and there is a requirement that we provide a notice to terminate, so that's why Lisa sent it to council, so that we could approve terminating this agreement, which won't be effective immediately, but will ensure that we're not billed any further costs.
Move approval.
It's been moved by Councilman Sanders, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Miller. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Citizens' comments or requests on items not on the agenda.
I would like to remind everyone, 3 minutes. And yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just first want to say, according to the Open Meetings Act, Act 267, 1976, Section 15.263, Section 4, a person shall not be required as a condition of attendance at a meeting of a public body to register or otherwise provide his or her name or other information or otherwise to fulfill a condition precedent to attendance. Mayor, council.
And Mayor, may I interrupt real quick?
I'm sorry.
I would agree with that, so I'd like to get a ruling on that.
He is accurately reading the Open Meetings Act paragraph. I followed along with him. If you want me to give an opinion on how it's been implemented or interpreted in the past relative to Michigan case law, then I would have to.
Mayor, point of
Yes,
order.
yes,
Aren't we
yes.
just supposed to listen to the citizens' comments?
Okay. I wanted to bring, something was brought to my attention that I felt that the people, since we are the sovereign and you are the agents that serve us, and this is very disheartening. Mayor Rural, I'd like to ask you yes or no. Do you recall an email that was sent out to council on August 2nd, 2017 at approximately 8:38 a.m.? It was sent to all the council members.
Yes,
Recall that.
everybody knows it went out.
Okay, and I would just like to bring attention, and I'm not going to go through everything, but I am going to read word for word. I, in bold letters, did not want anyone who had worked against us with the SMORSA vote to be on this council. I told each of you that. Those folks, no matter what they said, did not get it then, and they certainly still do not get it now. We must agree to disagree in a civil and respectful manner. We have 15 months to be productive. Let us move forward and prove all the negative noise people wrong. I am, and I was, very proud to be one of those negative noise people, and I was not wrong. The people of the city of Wayne were also not wrong. You have a job to represent all the people in Wayne, not just one small group. I have neighbors, I have friends, voted yes, voted no. Those of us who are on unlimited fixed incomes, we were facing, the city asked for it, the ballot proposal was for 14 mills. Some couldn't afford it. They would have to put their house up, get what they could, and leave. We didn't want to do that. Regardless, however that turned out, it's over and done with. And it says on here, if the citizens do not like any of us, then only they have the power to remove us. Well, I'm going to give you a brief civics lesson. There's a difference between a citizen
It's up.
and a
I'm sorry, but your
and a
time is up.
people. I would like to.
Your time is up, Mr.
I
Blackwell.
would like to point out.
Mr.
Section
Blackwell, your time
7.4
is up.
Of the city charter.
Mr. Blackwell,
Regular
I have asked
special
you to
meetings of the
please
council
sit
Shall be
down.
open to the public, and rules of order of the council shall provide that citizens
We will hold a
shall
recess
have
right now.
reasonable
Everybody,
opportunity
please.
to be
We are
heard.
in recess.
We are the sovereign people.
I'm sorry,
You serve at
the
our
meeting,
pleasure.
you have
You make the
done your
rules to-
allocated time. Your time is over.
You're supposed to afford us a reasonable time to be heard.
I have asked
That
you
is
3
guaranteed-
times to sit down.
That is
Please sit
guaranteed
down.
to us by something called the Constitution
Officer
of the
Ryan.
United States.
Will you please escort the gentleman out?
Do you know why politicians
I
don't
have
want to
asked
talk
you to
about the
leave.
Constitution? Because it gives all the power to the people.
Mr. Blackwell, I have asked you 4 times to sit down. You are now going to be escorted out of the council
Then would
chambers.
you like me to contact the ACLU for my First Amendment rights to be
You,
violated?
I have told you, I've given you the time limit,
In
and
the
I have asked you,
charter, it
please
says-
escort the gentleman out.
Well, in the charter, it says one of the
Please
duties of the mayor
escort the gentleman
I
out.
give you supreme rule of the people of the
Robert's
city.
Rules of Order does.
That's for you folks, not for me. We are the
I
sovereign.
run this meeting, and I have
The
asked you
people.
4 times to
You
please
serve
sit
at the will
down.
of the people.
Will you please escort him out of the
We
chambers?
have reasonable time under the charter to be heard, and 3 minutes is not.
These are the times that we have set. Will you please escort him out? Please.
Am I being arrested?
No, you are being escorted out of the council chambers because you are not following the rules. Yes, you are disturbing the function of this board
Am I
right now.
disturbing the peace of a peace officer?
You are disturbing the peace of this council meeting, the business meeting of the
Bringing
city.
to the attention of the council.
Madam Mayor, motion to adjourn.
Because I am aggrieved. I have a right to redress.
Will you please exit the chambers?
Where does it say 3 minutes? The First Amendment.
As a favor, will you please just stop?
Am I being placed under arrest?
Will you please exit at the officer's
Am I going
request?
to be given a reasonable opportunity?
You
to be
had your
heard?
reasonable time, sir. I am not going to
minutes-
tell you again.
minutes is
Please
not
leave.
reasonable.
3 minutes is the time we have voted on and have
Mayor,
approved.
The First
All right,
Amendment.
gentlemen, we are in recess until
Thank you.
Okay, we will continue on with citizens' comments. Is there anyone else in the audience? Yes, Mr. Marmon.
Ed Marmon from the Wayne Public Library. I'd like to tell you that there's going to be a very short program to honor our former director, Paulette Medvecki. That'll be on the, at 6:45 PM on the 20th, Wednesday the 20th.
September?
September,
20th.
yeah, right. And one of the rooms will be dedicated to her.
Oh, very nice.
It's going to be a short program. Her daughter will unveil a new cast bronze plaque that just got put up last week. And it's going to be nice. And then there'll be some refreshments afterwards. And we hope that some of you can make it. And anybody can make it.
Okay, all right.
If anyone can.
Okay.
Paulette was with us 20 years. And the first half of that, the first 10 years, was as a children's librarian. And the remainder was as the director. She left us in December 2 years ago. And it's time we do something for her. So please come out to honor her if you can. You know, it's going to be real short, but so you don't have to stay very long. Or you can stay for whatever goodies are over in the Thomas Kelly
Okay.
community room. So please do it.
We miss her.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes.
Hello, y'all. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
My name is Judy Pullins. I live in Newberry Square Apartments. I just have a couple things to say. That building that's right next to the tattoo shop, when is that thing going to be completely tore down?
That is one of the items that the city manager will report on tonight before you leave.
Okay, because it's an eyesore. The other thing is, I enjoyed the concerts immensely. The only thing I didn't enjoy was somebody was smoking skunk weed. And, you know, I don't want that.
Okay.
You know, that's the only part of it I didn't enjoy, because every time I smell that, I get sick.
Okay, all right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
My name is Tamara, and I live on Treadwell. I'm going to bring up a whole nother subject, going to the changing of the water meters. My meter was changed the first part of March. I went from a $77 water bill to a $3,000 water bill. I have now been sent a notice that if I do not pay this $3,000 by the 13th of this month, my water will be shut off. Now, between my husband and myself, we've spoken to 4 different people from the city about this issue. I believe it was Ed, my husband spoke to, said that the meter on my home was the oldest meter he's ever seen in his career. So my thing is if I had such an old water meter, which my home was inspected in 2014 when I purchased it, why am I responsible for a bill that the meter doesn't belong to me? It's not my fault that there's such an old water meter on my home. So this $3,000 water bill, and now they're threatening to shut me off.
Okay. Could, who do you want? Ed? Mike Byton? Okay, Mike, if you could take Tamara in the hallway and get her contact information so that then a meeting could be set up with her and Ed and Lisa to discuss this, okay? Yeah, if you could do that now, if that's okay with you,
I have
Tamara?
spoken to Wendy,
Okay,
Ed, and Rick,
Okay.
who were willing to do absolutely nothing but make a payment plan.
Oh,
Which
okay.
I don't think I deserve because
No.
the meter
You need-
does not belong to me.
right, okay. Mr. Byton will get your information, and then he will make certain that there is a meeting scheduled for you,
Thank
okay?
you so much.
Thank you.
Madam
Have
Mayor,
a good
can we-
evening.
Can we get a resolution on that when it's finished?
Certainly, we'll get a report.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Lisa, when it's done, could you let us know what the outcome is? Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Powell.
Lenny Powell on Howell. The last council meeting, I asked for a letter of thank you to the Rotary just for the concerts in the park. I don't know if I got a yes or a no from that, if we could do that.
I haven't seen a letter yet, but we will be drafting, one will get drafted and sent.
Okay, and then next, I want to welcome the two ladies to the Neighborhood Watch, the new ladies. And just say, I'm glad to have you, and if there's more out there, we need you. September 12th is a fundraiser for the Department of Public Works at Karma Coffee from 10 to 7. I also have a fundraiser for the firefighters, Chili's in Canton, September 28th. My vendor shows are going to be at Hype, October 21st, November 5th, and December 10th. We're having a cook-off, so start digging out your chili entries. That's going to be October 21st from 4 to 7. Today I spent probably 3/4 of the day at fire departments. I went to 11 different fire departments and personally invited them. And then at Hype, we're going to have the Halloween walk. The city is really being looked at. I've worked with 93.1. They're going to be out there live.
Okay.
And we've now been contacted by 99.5 WYCD because they seen the 93.1 took it on.
Okay.
And they want us to post on their homepage of our last year's event, if anybody remembers it. The Lions was from the ball field out to Howell Road down to Annapolis. So, and we had 1,750 people. This year it's going to start an hour earlier. 5 to 6 p.m. is going to be for children with disabilities and children under 3. And then we're going to have food trucks out there for the people waiting in lines if they want to get a drink or whatever for that. And that's all I have.
And what is the date on that, Mr. Powell, again?
For the Halloween
Yes.
walk, it's October 27th. It's a Friday night.
Okay, thank
And
you.
there is a candy drop box you'll see throughout the city, and I'll keep it updated. We got 5 of them out right now at Henry Service Center, the Hype Center, Happy's Pizza, the Mexican Delicious Thing, Wayne and Van Born, and Metro PCS at Glenwood and Wayne.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Powell, appreciate it. Is there anyone else? Yes, Ms. Stoffler. Can you get that down? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to Mr. Sanders. Just as your behavior has embarrassed the city in the past, mine did in my email exchange with the mayor. And I sincerely apologize. I'm sorry. I don't think there's been a bigger proponent of women in power in this city than myself. Early on, our police department had no female officers, and I harangued late Chief Colligan daily about hiring a woman. The first female officer he hired on her first domestic case ended up cowering in a corner, and the male officers had to assist her out of the building. As you know, Mayor, I voted to support women in the past. And I'm very proud to say we have an intelligent, articulate, committed, and devoted woman sitting on this panel. And Lisa, I'd like to thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Yes.
Evening, Madam Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
Lloyd Allen, Ward 3, Precinct 3, City of Wayne. You know, I got to keep my words right here. There's ladies present. But I don't understand the attitude when you say that certain people on this SMORSA thing, they didn't get it then and we don't get it now. Well, I'm one of them that voted no. I thought 14 mills was way too damn much at one shot. But I don't understand the hostility by the mayor or anybody else in this council toward the people who voted no, since we could have voted yes 100% and we still wouldn't have it today because East Point shot it down. So I think we need to get past that. In my opinion, I think there's some of this council that didn't get it then and don't get it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Bob Borgi, Flora Lane. This is citizens' comments or requests on items not on the agenda. It's our 3 minutes. What we want to talk about shouldn't really matter. But when we're interrupted by a council member and then there's dialogue with the attorney, time was ticking away on Mr. Blackwell's time. I think it was an embarrassment. You need to let the citizens talk. I know a lot of times in the past, Al Haydas, even though we didn't agree eye to eye, he would give me a lot more time when I was talking because he knew that what I had to say had to be said.
Thank you, Mr. Borgi. Anyone else? No? Okay. Oh, I'm s-
Okay, I'm Dave Cook. I live on,
I'm sorry.
Dave Cook, Wayne Towers. What's going on with her? She getting fired or what? It says on his paper, what's going on? It says, your vote cemented Lisa being fired as city manager. Is that true or no?
No.
Okay. I just want to know what's going on.
I don't know what paper you're looking at.
The paper somebody handed me. Email?
No,
No? Okay.
no.
You better stay here because we're going to have a problem. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? No? Okay. Yes.
Osborne on Main Street 3. Now my clock's running, now it's back. Some for it's on, some it's not. Now we
on.
go, now we go.
It's on.
Now she's on, now she's not.
It's on. Better talk, it's on.
That was very embarrassing what happened some minutes ago. It's terrible that we videotaped that, but it's embarrassing. I agree with what Mr. Borgi just said. I'm collecting. Trying to collect my thoughts of the exact item I was, the item I was going to ask for you, and you said the city manager's probably going to give a report on that building that's supposed to be being knocked down, and I don't think it's properly maintained with the pylons, and as I mentioned last time, you're going to report back on it. This asbestos building that has asbestos on it. and how you going to properly promulgate it. In regards to the 3 minutes and that, I would like to ask one question to clarify for everybody that's interested, that is. And if you're interested in documents that the city who's supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to see through, invisible, we, the citizens that can't get those documents, we have to go through a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request. Now, I would like to know, and it doesn't take you a minute, to tell me who's in charge of this department, or who you've delegated it to. It's confidential information when a person makes a FOIA request. The information should be the most correct information. It cannot be redacted by documentation that I have that's already being given to me freely. So documentation that I've got done freely, and then a person makes a FOIA request and they just happen to get some different pages. So I would like you to tell the public and myself how much you charge for a FOIA request. Do you put it on a letterhead, how much you charge, and who is responsible for it in responding to the public on a FOIA request in a very timely, lawful manner, okay? It's lawful, okay? It's not timely by your choice, it's by the law. I'd like an answer to that. We got 8 seconds.
Thank you. We will have a report for you at the next council meeting.
No, I can't wait then.
Well, I'm sorry.
8 seconds left. You already ripped me off by 12. Now I've got 20 seconds. Can you give me an answer?
No. We will report it to you at the next council meeting.
That's how we conduct city meetings. We don't know a lot of things, okay?
Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. Clerk, the agenda?
Item number 8, items for the next agenda.
Are there any items from council members for the next agenda?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
if I could just ask for, Ms. Lori, if she can go ahead and give just a quick report on the storage building, reporting the progress we're making with that.
Okay.
And Mayor Rowe?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd like to ask that if we could have an educational discussion on facilitating our department leads and the ability to grant write. Mr. Cameron indicated that some of the grant writing within some of the things that he presented this evening were done with some of the individuals that he is working with. And it brought to my mind was that is it possible for us to have an educational ability for our department leads to learn that piece of it?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And that's, I just want to get an educational discussion regarding that. Is it feasible, not feasible, or, you know?
Well, it doesn't seem like it's anything that we as council need to be involved in. You could just ask that it be a direction to the city manager that she holds some type of an educational piece with the department heads in regards to grant writing and such, and some of maybe the areas that they could be looking at, some of the websites and such.
Okay.
How would that be? She could draft something and let us see what she's going to hand out to the department heads.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
that would be my question.
Yeah.
Would the city manager be able to train our department leads to learn the ability to be able to write grants on their own for their specific needs?
Okay, she'll get back with us then.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right, then. Any other items for?
Mayor, I got
Yes,
one.
Yes, Councilman Racy.
And I could kind of tell the point, but I guess there's discussion about it. I've had a few residents ask me, when we do the appointment process, why we don't go to a supermajority for the votes and having 5 votes for that. And I'm not sure what the answer to that is. We do with all these things, we sell property, and it's $100,000, but we put a council person on and have 4 votes, and we're responsible for a lot more money. And they were asking, is there a reason we don't go to go to 5? I don't know the answer to that.
Because it's not required by charter.
Is it something that we can talk about, or?
It's not required by charter.
So the charter requires us 4, and so that's why we do
The
it.
majority vote, there's language about when a majority vote is required. So by definition, anytime it says a majority vote, that's why there's only the 4-vote necessity. And charter specifically states that the sale of land requires the supermajority type vote.
I understand that. I mean, I understood their point. I mean, some of the things didn't make any sense, but I don't know if there's other things like that with the supermajority type of thing that I've had a couple people ask me about a couple other things with supermajority too lately, so.
Robert's rules mention supermajority and then your charter, and we follow our charter as best as we can. Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I would assume that the city attorney is going to have the list that we had asked you to have her have for us by the next meeting. If we could have a discussion on that with regard to wards?
Yes, I mentioned it, I mentioned to her before the meeting, her and I spoke about it, and so
If we
she'll.
could have that on the next meeting, I'd
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yes, she'll be answering the questions that we had.
Before the meeting, right? So we can look at it?
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Councilman Sanders, can you repeat that?
Further discussion on the ward issue. And for that matter, I guess the ethics, if she has an opinion by then.
Okay. All right, then. Anybody else? Have a question? No? Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Can we also put a resolution to declare a month of October Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well? So it'll be at the last meeting in September, so the next month would be October?
Sure, we can do that.
Sure.
Did you get that, Madam Clerk? Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Move on the agenda.
Item 9, consent calendar. A, Historical Commission minutes of July 10th.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Sanders, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Miller. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 10, staff reports. Comments from members of the city council.
Okay. Staff reports.
Thank you. I'll start with a couple of items that were asked at the last council meeting. Mr. Osborne had asked about the property on Michigan Avenue. That is city-owned property, number 1. Number 2, we had an issue, they did start the demolition, I think is it Blue Star, Mike, is that what they're called? Yes. Blue Star did start the demolition. I apologize, I have to read this a little bit, but once the city was alerted about the additional asbestos issues, we had to resubmit a 10-day permit with the state. Once that was completed, a site profile had to be completed on the items from the building that will go to the landfill. Waste Management has approved that site profile sheet as of this morning, so great job, Mike, pushing that through quickly. On the asbestos side, when we ran into the asbestos issues, we had to stop what we were doing and immediately clean up what was on the ground and after what was completed. The subcontractor, who is a subcontractor, Blue Star, who specializes in removal of asbestos, came in and cleaned up the asbestos that was found. Moving forward, the city had to have a new method to take the material off of the building. And so we have worked on that with the state and again with the site profile mentioned earlier. So Mike was able to get this new technique move forward with regards to this safely removing this asbestos issue. And so the building the contractors are slated to continue their work this Thursday. And the building shouldn't take that long to come down, Mike. I mean, if there's no problems, correct? Yeah. So I hope that answers that question. Mr. Amos had a question about where was the city at with the listing of the buildings. Mr. Amos, I hope that we answered your questions satisfactorily this evening, sir. You're welcome. My pleasure. I just want to say something about the grant writing. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Mayor Pro Tem. Just real quick, I added that on because I'm excited to say that we do have staff that can write grants, and they're very good at it. And actually, I have been working with them to train them a little bit more on compliance, too. They've done a really good job. So, for instance, DPW is working, the grant that we received from Bob Kozowski for the ball fields, Ed has taken that over, and he's been working closely with the state and making sure that we are in compliance and every step of the way. I thought that was a good idea because their expertise, they have expertise in their areas. I'm here to review, help, guide, do whatever I need to do with my expertise, but I'm helping them to identify training in some of those departments they haven't been able to. With regards to the county funding we received for Gowdy Park with the new they're putting in new wiring and electrical. Our foremen are actually working with me on that as well because Rick and Dave are working on that. I think Rick is specifically handling it because he is the expert in that area. So this has given them a new ability to take a look at these projects and do compliance. So they're doing that. I can say as far as FD, Fred and I have written many grants together on the fire side. We do a lot of review, and a lot of times I have to depend on them to put the nuts and bolts into it because they understand the apparatus, they understand the firefighters' needs, the unsafer, all the things that we need through AFG for the ambulance, the specs, and then we will do a review from my company, and I think we've done a really good job together making those grants work and pushing them through. Our police chief is and the team are well trained in writing grants as well. My company has worked with my colleague Fred, and I worked with Chief Maciag on getting the COPS grant, the hiring grant done. So we've been working on those together, too.
Thank you.
Oh, you bet. I think it's a great idea. I think everybody should be trained. I'm not an expert in every single thing. I wish I was, but I have to kind of throw in the towel once in a while and say, look, write down the nuts and bolts of this, and then my company will review it, we'll put the final polish on it, and we'll help you to get it submitted. So I'm glad you asked that.
Thank you for providing that.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And the last thing I just wanted to say is that the Wayne Bicycle Club invited me out to ride last week on Thursday, and it was almost a 10-mile ride. I haven't ridden a bike in years, so it was a little wobbly at first, but I will tell you, if you get a chance and you have a bike, please try it out. It's refreshing. I will say that I was very sore. I think I had to take a break at one point. It was man down. I was a little embarrassed, but almost 10 miles was a long way, but they really have it organized like nothing I've ever seen with regards to crossing safely, lighting, the trail system. I mean, it is so incredibly well organized. If you get a chance and you haven't done it yet, please give it a try if you can, even if you have to ride on somebody's bike. Tom, I see your face already. I just want to thank Wayne Bicycle Club for that. And if I'm just on a personal note, I just want to thank everybody for their wonderful cards, prayers, thoughts, everything with regards to losing my dog last week unexpectedly, and just say thank you. He was my child and my friend. Thank you.
Thank
That's it,
you.
Mayor.
Thank
Thank you. I'm
you.
sorry.
No, thank you.
Just
Thank
wanted to
you.
thank everybody. It's been an outpouring of support to help me get through.
Okay. And we now come to comments from members of the city council. Mayor Pro Tem Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to be real quick because a lot of things earlier this evening were mentioned as well from the Historical Museum as well as Main Street. Very excited about the event coming up at the Old Bank. That should be really a great event to attend, the jazz. I just want to kind of call out Karma Coffee because they've been named, here's another recognition in our city, as one of the top 10 coffee shops, Blue Ribbon Experience from Metro Times, number 8 out of 10. So congratulations to Karma Coffee. It gives you one more reason why we have some of the new trends happening in Wayne here, and they are one of them, as well as Helium Studios and some of the others like the Avenue and etc. So with that, I'm just going to end it, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Racy.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I want to thank Ms. Goen. I saw Jerry Patat today, and he just wanted to thank her for all her work on the Family Dollar. He'd mentioned if it wasn't for her helping, getting through things, that he wouldn't have been able to get that sale again, and or the rent with them, and really appreciated that. Also wanted to mention the Cross Point Church had their Family Fun Day, and it was a great time again. And tons of people. They did a great job, and I'd like to see us send them, and I guess I should have said in the other, thank you. We've done that in the past for providing that for the community, and I can say that in the next meeting if I have to, but it's thanking them for their support for the community and providing that free day along with Hype for what they did with that. I think we should be sending thank yous for what they're doing out for those. And then just wanted to say thank you for everybody that came out to the concerts in the park. The Rotary was very appreciative of everybody coming out for that this year, and it was a great time. People had an incredible time. I hear people still talking about it, looking forward to it. It's something that people are really looking forward to it. I had a guy at the last concert mention to me how he had a bumper sticker years ago, he's 61, that it's great to live in Wayne, and he said, you know, these concerts in the park remind me of that, and it really, for him, that was something that was great to live in Wayne. He'd been out to all of them and was very appreciative, and thank you to the sponsors, Mark Chevrolet and the Wayne Westland Federal Credit Union, and Professional Insurance and Independent Carpet are some of our main sponsors, and there's lists out there with everybody else, but without them, this type of thing doesn't happen, and also our DPW for all for setting up stuff for it. They did a great job again with that, and it takes everybody coming together to make things like this happen, and it's definitely something that was great to hear when people were telling me, you know, Wednesday nights, Wayne's the place to be, and that's something I like to hear, and I like to hear that kind of stuff more often. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, I've heard a lot of comments about we're not doing anything with the financial situation of the city, and I'd like you to look back on the one thing passed tonight for $294. That just shows you the extent that our staff and Lisa are working to cut everything out of this budget and everything out of our finances that isn't absolutely necessary. So they're down to $294 and they're finding things. We can't find too many $294 items to make up what we're missing, but we are working on it. I just want to express my opinion to everybody that everybody up here is working on the finances. Just because we don't sit here and discuss it doesn't mean we're not working on it. Some of us daily, some of us weekly, whatever, but whatever time we can, we put on the finances. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Sanders?
Nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Gabriel?
Nothing today, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to remind everyone that, yes.
Forgot something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Is it because I'm the new guy?
That's it, exactly. You're the new guy on the block. I'm sorry. Councilman Webster.
My only thing for tonight is with school back in session and everybody driving to work in the morning, just please be vigilant of the children that walk to school and the school buses when they stop. All too often I see people like to blast around the school buses, and there are small children walking around, so please be vigilant of them.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize again. It won't happen. I would just like to remind everyone that there will be the Diamond in the Community Award again this year, and that is being awarded to Miss Patricia Rice. The award presentation will be done on Tuesday, October the 3rd, and there is a dinner in her honor beforehand at Hype Recreation. If you wish to attend, you can purchase tickets. Wayne Dairy Queen, again, is the sponsorship, as well as Jack Sports for their donation of the plaque. We always appreciate that. And please, if you do wish to purchase a ticket, they request that you do so by September the 26th, and you can purchase those at the Hype Recreation Center. Nancy Wojcicki-Knoll has those available for you. With that, I hope everybody had a very safe Memorial Day weekend, and as Councilman Webster said, school is back in session, so please be aware of those crossing guards, and remember, 25, sometimes 15 miles an hour in the school zone areas is the appropriate speed limits. So with that.
Motion to adjourn, Madam Mayor.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Chicken.